To celebrate the release of several Castlevania titles to the Wii U Virtual Console, as well as the month of Halloween, the Nintendo World Report staff will be creating some written and video content for the site based around the storied action horror franchise from Konami. Originally released for the Famicom Disk System as Akumajo Dracula, literally Devil Castle Dracula, in 1986, the first Castlevania game arrived in North America and Europe on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1987. The game starred whip-armed vampire hunter Simon Belmont on a quest to defeat Count Dracula. It was followed by a sequel titled Simon's Quest, as well as a prequel starring Simon Belmont's ancestor, Trevor Belmont. The NES Castlevania titles were 2D action platformers, with Simon's Quest adding some adventure game elements. The 16-bit era brought a remake of the first game in 1991, with updated controls, a new soundtrack, and a completely reimagined castle. Players can now whip in 8 directions rather than just directly in front of Simon. Simon's jump changed from the stiff, uncontrollable jump from the 8-bit games to allowing the player to alter Simon's path mid-jump. Super Castlevania IV continued to set high expectations for fans of the series. The next console entry into the Castlevania series moved to the Japanese PC Engine CD. While Rondo of Blood would not be released for a 16-bit console in the West, the game received high praise from media outlets that imported the game. Electronic Gaming Monthly named Rondo of Blood the best Japanese game of 1994. After a year of envy, the West received a Super Nintendo port of Rondo of Blood titled Castlevania Dracula X. However, calling Dracula X a port of Rondo of Blood is misleading. For the most part, Dracula X is a different game outside of the storyline which follows Richter Belmont fulfilling his family duty in taking down Count Dracula. Most Western gamers' first exposure to the storyline likely comes from the prologue of Symphony of the Night.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
Unlike Rondo of Blood, Dracula X only has 1 playable character and 9 stages, compared to Rondo of Blood's 2 playable characters and 13 stages. Dracula X has a password system unlike Rondo of Blood, which has a save system. Dracula X was a disappointment to many in the West, not because of its shortcomings compared to Rondo of Blood, but how the game felt dated compared to Super Castlevania. Richter's jump was stiff, and he was only capable of whipping in one direction. It felt like if Ocarina of Time Z targeting system wasn't in Majora's Mask. Graphically, Dracula X looked unpolished compared to the Super Nintendo titles of the time. Although the game has some excellent tracks and great 16-bit remixes of past Castlevania themes, the sound quality pales in comparison to Rondo of Blood CD soundtrack. Dracula X was ill-received by gamers and critics at the time, causing the game to perform poorly, resulting in a lack of physical copies today. On the second-hand market, the game can cost from $200 and up for just the cartridge. This is why the Virtual Console release of this game is so significant. Although it has shortcomings, Dracula X is still a game worthy of the Castlevania name and should be played by fans of the series.